Hi, I'm Fred Chapman. I've got a little project for us to do today. It's a simple little project that you can use hand tools for or power tools, either one. What we're going to do is use a piece of bamboo or river cane to make a powder measure out of. Now for years I've used the adjustable brass powder measure that you can find in the store, and while it's really good, it is not authentic, and I still use it at the range, but I want to make an authentic powder measure that's simple to do, and there's a little trick to it that we'll see a little bit later that makes it easier than you'd think. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the tools we're going to use for this project. Probably the fanciest to be a hand drill with about a 1/4 inch bit. You're going to use your brass adjustable powder measure for a tool, actually, and then of course your material: sandpaper, pencil, a saw, a coping saw will work. I'm going to use a band saw, and then you can use a dowel. Now the dowel has got to be able to fit inside your cane, and I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. Okay, so what I've done, I've filled my brass powder measure up, and what I'm going to do is pour that down inside my cane. Now, I'm sure everybody that's messed with this stuff knows that there's dividers or bulkheads in there where these knuckles are on the outside. So what I'm going to do is use this long part, and I've left a little bit along the bottom here that we're going to cut kind of fancy, and we're going to put our hanger there. So what I'm going to do is just pour that in there, like so. And then I'm going to take my dowel, and vertically I'm going to run it down in there, like that. When it's bottomed out, I'm going to mark that, so, and pull it out. Now, of course, I don't have to tell you about the dangers of working with black powder and some of the things that can happen with that. So just be careful, and don't want anybody to get hurt. All right, now what we're going to do is take our cane, and we're going to line our mark up right at this end where we marked it, where it went into the cane. And we're going to come down here, and we're going to make a little pencil mark right where that came to. Now, as you can see, it's not very big because it's a good sized piece of cane. But where I'm going to mark there, or where I did mark, is where we're going to cut that off. Okay, so I've cut my cane right there at my mark, and I left it just a little bit on the heavy side. But you want to do that because you're going to sand some of that. So I've got my 80 grain charge here, and I'm going to do is pour that in here to double check, make sure I cut it correctly. And there we have it. It's right up almost to the top, but I left that just a little heavy to make a go of it. Okay, now at the bottom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off at kind of a shape like that, and leave like a tab, and I'm going to round all that off. So that'll make a place we can drill our hole for our lanyard. Okay, now I've cut that off in what I would, I don't know, call that like a whistle shape, and a little sanding on it. I'm going to stain this dark color when I'm all done. And I drilled my lanyard hole there. You got to be careful drilling this. It's a little bit brittle, and the drill tends to grab a little bit. And I actually split that, but I'm going to just go with it and put my lanyard on there anyway. It won't matter. So there you have it. That is our finished powder measure. It looks a lot more authentic than what the brass one does, but the brass one is a great tool at the range, like I said. Now I'm going to just sand the edges a little bit and ease those back and just make it look a little prettier. Okay, we've completed our project for today. There's a little powder measure. I added some dark brown Phoebing's leather dye to it, and a leather thong, and I probably got 30 minutes or so into it, including a few outtakes for when I stumbled and didn't say what I wanted to say. But I would say this would be a good project for an afternoon. I could whip it out really quick. it's much more authentic looking than the brass one, and it'll look good on your kit. So keep your powder dry and see you next time. Thanks.